Good morning, everyone. Today, I will tackle about the beginning of nationalist ideas in China. At the same time, I will discuss about the rise of Filipino nationalism. So, let's start. At the end of the 19th century and the beginning of 20th century, there was a nationalist awakening in China. The factors responsible for this rise of nationalism were first, the ruthless economic exploitation of the country by the European imperialists. And base sa nabasa ko, the most active European countries in terms of imperialism were Britain, France, and Germany. And their goal is to increase their power across the globe. So, isa sa dahilan ng pag-usbong ng mga nationalists in China ay ang European imperialists dahil sa walang awa nilang pinagsamantalahan ang ekonomiya ng China. So the question is, why did the Europeans imperialize China? The primary motive of British imperialism in China in the 19th century was economic. There was a high demand for Chinese tea, silk, and porcelain in the British market. So ayun, nagkaroon ng mataas na demand ang British market sa Chinese tea, silk, and porcelain. Kaya isa ito sa dahilan ng pag-imperialize ng Europeans sa China. And the second factors responsible for this rise of nationalism were social, economic, and political exploitation at the Chinese by the reigning Manchu dynasty, in collaboration with the Chinese landlords and the warlords, resulted in great poverty in China. So ayun, dahil nga sa paghahari ng Manchu dynasty kasama ang landlords at mga warlords, ay walang awalan nilang pinagsamantalahan ang social, economic, and political sa China. Kaya naman, naging dahilan nito ng paghihirap ng bansang China. This aggravated the nationalist spirit of the masses, kaya nagkaroon ng Boxer Rebellion ang China. This group became known as Boxers because many of its members practiced martial arts. The Boxer Rebellion was an uprising against foreigners that occurred in China about 1900. Began by peasants but eventually supported by the government. So class, ang layunin ng China Boxer Rebellion ay ang pabagsakin ang paghahari ng Manchu dynasty at ang patalsikin ang mga dayuhan sa kanilang bansa. However, this rebellion was ruthlessly crushed by the combined armed forces of England, Russia, Germany, Japan, and the USA. So dahil sa nangyari, napilitan ng China na tanggapin ang nakakahiyang mga tuntunin ng kasunduan ng Peking under of the European powers. So, in 1894, Dr. Sun Yat-sen, father of New China, founded the Chinese Revival Society, later called the Kuomintang or People's National Party. Dr. Sun developed a philosophy of nationalism for China. His ideology was nationalistic, anti-dynastic, increasingly anti-monarchical, and finally republican. Dr. Sun favors independence for a country and have loyalty and devotion to his nation. So class, in 1911, there was a revolution which overthrew the Manchu dynasty. This dynasty had continued to rule for 268 years. So class, imagine, ganun katagal yung paghahari ng Manchu dynasty sa China. Kaya naman, matagal din naghirap ang China sa kanila. Noong napabagsak na ang paghahari ng Manchu dynasty sa China, naging republic na ang China sa pamamalakad ni Dr. Sun na unang naging presidente ng China. Kalaunan, nagkaroon ng alitan dahil si General Yuan ay namamahala din sa Northern China. So ang gusto ni General Yuan ay siya rin yung mamuno sa Republic ng China. So, in order to maintain the unity and solidarity of Chinese nation, Dr. Sun resigned in favor of General Yuan. So, nagparaya si Dr. Sun kay General Yuan. And General Yuan began to govern China dictatorially. So, si General Yuan ay isang Manchu general. He joined the revolution instead of crushing it. Became China's first president in 1912. Disbanded government and ruled as a dictator. died in 1916 throwing China into chaos. So, idinala lang ni General Yuan ang China sa kaguluhan at hindi naging maganda ang pamumuno nito sa China. Then, during the World War I, a civil war broke out, resulting in the establishment to two revival governments. One was centered at Peking in the north and the other at a canton in the south. So, yung mga nationalists under Dr. San ay pinalaya sa Peking. Kaya gumawa sila ng karibal na government sa kanton. So, class, ang Peking, now known as Beijing, the capital of China. In 1921, Dr. San was elected President of the Chinese Republic. Dr. San's national philosophy consisted of three main ideas. First, nationalism, to make China a nation state and to free it from foreign control. So, gusto ni Dr. San na maging malaya ang China sa mga dayuhan. And second, sovereignty, to make people establishment of democracy in the country. So, provides an environment that respects human rights and fundamental freedoms. Ang gusto ni Dr. San ay may pantay-pantay na karapatan at lahat ng tao ay malaya sa diskriminasyon. And last, socialism. The needs of all should be supplied as far as possible, the efforts of all. So gusto niya na everyone in society equally owns the factors of productions. However, before achieving his goal, Dr. San expired on March 12, 1925. So namatay si Dr. San, kaya hindi niya natupad ang kanyang layunin. At noong namatay si Dr. San, pinalitan nito ni General Chiang Kai-shek, his trusted follower, at nababagsak nila yung government ng Peking. The unification of all China under the Kuomintang was thus nearly complete. Therefore, naging head si Chiang Kai-shek ng government ng China. But then, in terms of political and economical, the government of Chiang Kai-shek is so weak. Kaya, hindi nila napigilan ang pagsanib ng Japan at Manchuria noong 1931. So, napabagsak din sila nito. So, this is the end of my presentation about the rise of nationalism in China. At sana, may natutunan kayo. And now, let's proceed to the rise of Filipino nationalism. But before anything else, let's define first the meaning of nationalism. So according to Andres Bonifacio, nationalism was the highest and purest kind of love. It was also the state of mind and deep sentiments of the certain group of people towards their native and land to the people who belonged to the nation. Sa madaling salita, pag sinabi nating nationalism, ito yung pagmamahal ng isang tao or group of the people sa kanilang bansa. And Filipino nationalism began when the people in the Philippines already realized that their country was the Philippines and they were Filipinos. After 1880, nationalism and a passion for reform blossomed in Philippines. On returning to the Philippines from Europe, Jose Rizal and other Filipino students were able to arouse the nationalistic feelings in the people. Remember na may mga Pilipino noon na nakapag-aral sa Europa tulad ng Jose Rizal at kung anong mga natutunan nila doon ay naidala nila sa Pilipinas sa kanilang pag-uwi. And kung i-compare dito sa Pilipinas, mas liberal ang policy nila doon at ang pag-iisip ng mga tao doon sa Europa. Unlike in the Philippines na limitado lamang. Kaya nga nasakop tayo ng Espanyol. After the Spaniard arrested Rizal in July 1892, Bonifacio decided the Philippines would only achieve independence through revolution. Kaya naman, yung mga nasyonalista dito sa Pilipinas nag-form ng katipunan na pinumunuan ni Andres Bonifacio para palisin ang mga Espanyol dito sa Pilipinas. Ito class, gumawa ako ng timeline para mas madali niyong maunawaan. So, in December 1897, there was revolts around Manila and truce was concluded with the Spaniards. So, nagkaroon ng pag-aasa sa Manila. The hardship caused by the revolution convinced Emilio Aguinaldo to arrange a truce with the Spanish authorities, called the Pact of Biak na Bato, to end the Philippine Revolution. In the meantime, war broke out between the US and Spain. So ayun, nagkaroon ng digmaan between USA and Spain. And May 1898, the USA won a brilliant victory at the Manila Bay. December 10, 1898, dahil natalo yung Spain ng USA, napilitan silang pumirma sa isang kasunduan sa kapayapaan kung saan ipinagkaloob ang Pilipinas sa US. So ayun, dahil walang choice ang Spain, napilitan silang iintriga ang Pilipinas sa US. However, the Filipino leaders refused to recognize US sovereignty over the islands. In the March 1901, finally, the Philippines accepted the US rule. So class, therefore, in 1916, the Jones Act was passed by the US Congress, granting a measure of autonomy to the Philippines. So, ang Jones Law ay nagsilbing konstitusyon, ang pinakamataas na batas sa Pilipinas in 1916 to 1934. And ang Jones Law ay pinangalan kay William Atkinson Jones, isang chairman ng House of Committee Affairs. This act having the freedom to govern itself or control its own affairs. However, these struggles for complete independence from the US rule continue. So ayan, nagpatuloy ang pakikipagbaka para sa ganap na kalayaan ng Pilipinas mula sa paghahari ng US. So class, during World War II, the US had promised liberation to the Philippines from its rule. The USA fulfilled this promise by formally recognizing the Philippines as an independent Republican state on July 4, 1946. So ayun, nangako ang US na palayain nila ang Pilipinas. At tinupad naman nila ito. Sana all, diba? Tigatupad ang pangako. Charis! Kaya naging malaya ang Pilipinas noong July 4, 1946 sa kamay ng mga Amerikano. And that's all for today. And sana marami kayong natutunan. Thank you for listening and God bless.